1500s Europe was a terrible time to be alive, to say the least. Even though the average peasant was probably trying not to die, trade was doing pretty well. The dominant economic system then was mercantilism. It held that the global economy was fixed and that wealth came from gold and silver, called bullion. It incentivized countries to export goods to be able to grow their bullion reserves. As you can see, the incentive structure is that British traders are trying to trade with France, but Louis XIV, trying to keep in all the bullion, says no, and they have to sell away in sadness as they can't make any more money. Mercantilism partially caused the age of exploration. European powers established colonies to extract bullion. To fund these trips, joint stock companies were created selling shares to investors who hoped for profits from colonial ventures. This also helped create the triangular trade. Europe sent manufactured goods to Africa, got slaves from the Americas, and received raw goods back from the colonies. One of the most famous mercantilists is Jean-Baptiste Colbert, Louis XIV's finance minister. He grew the economy by promoting business, raising taxes, and boosted exports. However, his economic gains couldn't keep up with Louis's spending, especially his wars. This left France deeply in debt and weakened the monarchy.
Yes, good old capitalism. The principles of capitalism are most widely associated with Adam Smith's Wealth of Nations. In it, he laid out the principles of capitalism, which are free trade, private ownership, and competition, all without government intervention, known as laissez-faire. These principles, especially private ownership, led to the agricultural revolution. Landowners started buying up communal lands from peasants in order to earn higher profits, known as the enclosure movement. Along with new farming techniques and inventions that increased efficiency, it led to increased food production and freed up labor from farms. Industrialization was able to be supported. The cottage system, where goods were made at home, was eventually replaced with the factory system. This is where workers and machinery were located at a single location, which allowed for the mass and efficient production of goods at a cheap cost. But let's just say that safety standards were a bit relaxed. Inventions were also created to increase production, such as the train and the steam engine. Of course, all this had a cost. Excessive economic liberties allowed factory owners to treat workers horribly in the name of profit, while increasing the wealth disparity. This huge wealth inequality eventually led some to believe that wealth should be shared more equally.
The way that thinkers sought to solve this wealth inequality is an idea called socialism, which aimed to redistribute wealth and promote equality through public ownership and government control of production. A more radical form of communism was proposed by Karl Marx in 1848, calling for a class society with complete economic equality, with state control of property and the economy. By the late 1800s, many European countries adopted socialist policies such as workers' rights through unions, subsidized services such as healthcare, and government-controlled industries. After the 1929 stock market crash and Great Depression, socialism gained traction. Keynesian economics also rose, named after John Keynes, who advocated that governments should cut taxes to boost demand and increase spending, especially on public works, even if it meant running a deficit. After World War II, the welfare state took root in Western Europe, promoting universal healthcare, welfare, and social security. Economic cooperation increased, such as with the formation of the European Economic Community, which later led to the 1992 Maastricht Treaty and the creation of the European Union. And that's the economic history of Europe.